So that one came from basically the realization that like my mom was like past the point of where I wouldn't be able to learn anything about her past anymore, from her at least, because, you know, in her mind it was gone. And so I was basically left with trying to piece it together the best that I could, like knowing what I know about my mom. And so I would just like try to kind of imagine her childhood and her upbringing, and just see if I could like, yeah, put together those pieces and put together a picture of what her upbringing would be like. And that's also why it's like one of the first songs in the album, because it kind of goes all the way back to where she started even.
I remember so Johnny and I's like first band in like high school was together, and it was a punk band, and it was so bad. We would get together, and your mom would like cook calzones for us the entire time. the rainbow Jello. That was like the Stromboli, and the rainbow Jello the whole time. And it was just like, Jesus, her patience to just like have us fucking making so much noise in the basement the entire time was just brutal.
She was not a young woman even like in those days. She was like, you know, she was born in 1946, and so she was like, you know, a grandma at that point, and like she totally like loved our punk rock music, and like I mean, I don't think she actually loved it, but she like enjoyed us being there playing it and stuff, and she would come to the shows a lot of the time, and that was great. So yeah, I tried to throw in like Easter eggs and stuff kind of throughout the album, and this song has some. So like one that I'll mention is I remember one conversation I had with her, I think in high school. It was around the time that I started playing guitar, and she told me that George Harrison was her favorite Beatle, and he was the quiet one, and like made a comparison to me or whatever. And so that's like super flattered me. And I just like always remembered that, you know, that little conversation. And so there's a line in there about like, if George Harrison were here, would I run away in fear? Would I kiss him on the cheek, or would I smile bashfully? Like that's just a reference to that little conversation that we had.
Well, this one, I was like kind of thinking, because there's little stories in each of these, both about like what, you know, you were working on with the album, but also I feel like The Country Life is Good was one of the first Malingo songs we started, but on that album I played upright bass on my crappy 1937K upright bass in the attic. And that was kind of like COVID timeline, wasn't it, when you were working on that?
Yeah. 2020 was when we like actually put those tracks together. Yep.
And then like I was kind of thinking about us getting a band together, because I feel like that kind of, you were doing it. You were like, this is more, I want this to be more than just like me recording in the attic. And it was like, let's get the band together. And at the beginning, I was gonna play bass in the band, because I played bass on the album. And I remember we were there, and then this is like my recollection of how the band came together. And Sam was the first person I remember meeting in the band, because we like went to the Mousetrap on like a Sunday night, like bluegrass jam, to go meet Sam and just like see like, is this guy normal?
And, no, turns out.
Thank goodness he's not.
But no, I remember this being the first song that I had really gotten to sit and play with you, and thank God for that, because like I still can't write with myself how to play it on my end, other than like switching to a 2 or 3 finger style. I always want to do this one in a big chop, and it just never feels as good as doing it in a 2 or 3 finger style. And I remember being so confused by it and terrified and thinking, oh my God, this is not going to work out. And then the next song went flying colors better. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. So this is the first Intimidator song for me, I have to say.
You were just confused because I have no idea how to play banjo. So I'm sure I didn't.
God,
do it right.
No, it was too much B.
You played all
it was too much B. Couldn't keep up.
You played everything on that album other than
except for the bass.
Which, but so I remember meeting Sam outdoors at the Mousetrap, and you like hung with us for like a little bit, but I remember you kept getting up and you're like, we were kind of starting to talk, be like, so this is what we're kind of thinking about the band. And Johnny was kind of just explaining. You're like, yeah. I'm going to go get back in that jam. I'll be back in like 5 minutes. It was like awesome. You'd just be up there like shredding in the jam. And I was like, oh, this is kind of exactly, this is a good fit, man.
It's a good sign.
I didn't mean to be socially awkward. It's just a side effect of bluegrass. I can't control myself when there's bluegrass around. I got nothing to say for myself. But also the Mousetrap is like, I'd say Hoppy Wobbles is my first home, but the Mousetrap is like a close second for home bar for me. I just know a lot of people, so I'm very busy when I'm there half the time talking to people or etc. So that was also on me for not like giving a pre-warning.
You were working the circuit. It was pretty fun. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, I think like a couple practices in, I was just like, you know what? This makes way more sense to have like a full electric bass in this situation, because like we kind of turned into like this weird like psych stoner folk band thing, and the electric bass like really fits that way better.
Yeah, I think Josh helped fit that too, because there was like a lot of hand percussion on the Faye album. Like it was not like drum set. Mm-hmm. And I remember those first couple practices, there were that giant rig, the recording rig that we were trying to get down the basement stairs that we couldn't fit down the stairs, and we had like snakes running throughout the house. But Josh, I remember, came like, I was like, first practice, man. So don't worry about it. We got a drum set at the house. Just kind of, get here when you get here. And he's like, yeah, cool. I'll bring a couple things. And Josh brought like 18 suitcases full of percussion ancillary items.
And was so excited. It made the day easier.
You weren't like fucking around. You're a true percussionist.
Yeah,
you like had a plan.
But I do remember I at first got on the djembe, and then I was like, nah. And then I went over to the drum set there, and then you guys were like,
yeah. It was working.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
It was fun.
But then I think it made so much more sense when LJ showed up with an electric bass, and it was like, oh, Josh is on a kit, LJ's electric, and everything else plugs in. And it was like, oh, dude, this has so much more space to work.